Prior to introducing the car last week, there was one job that I definitely wanted to get done first, and that is getting into the trunk without a key. So the trunk was locked and was drilled out just like the ignition. So this first part is me trying to get into said trunk. A lot of struggle on this thing, trying to get into my trunk. So as you can see, this was drilled out by the previous owner and the trunk was closed. There's no keys to this car. Car hasn't run in years, so I'm trying desperately to get into the trunk because he told me there's parts in the trunk and I haven't opened that yet. Now that I do have it cracked, I'm very excited. So anyway, what I did first is underneath, sorry about the angle, but I drilled that hole. It's probably 3/8, maybe a little smaller. Enough to get a screwdriver. I heated up, bent it just about 45 degrees so I can go underneath here and up in. Now that lever that we're trying to press is just to the right, probably an inch, not even, maybe 3/4 of an inch. And I'll show you what it looks like through the keyhole, which was drilled out. So, right there. So I was having all sorts of issues trying to get this thing to open, thinking maybe the vacuum actuator had it stuck in the position. And you can actually get to the vacuum actuator rod blindly with a screwdriver through this upper left hole if you needed to get to the vacuum rod and the key's locked. But that wasn't my problem. I didn't know that until just a minute ago. However, so I go up in here, and if you see right there, now this is the lever I'm trying to push straight towards the front of the car. This looks like it's a piece of the lock that someone had drilled off and was wedged behind this and just out of camera's view. And fiddling with it, I finally got it to operate. Now this one is out of my other one, R107, and it's real simple. This is the lever right here. So all we're trying to do is push this to release the latch and let the trunk open. That's it. So finally got that rubber piece out of the way. You put it, so the rubber piece, I pushed it off to the side, the broken piece, and now look how easy it is to push and open this trunk. And it releases every time now, effortless. So if you ever lock your keys in your trunk, or, well, you don't have keys and you're trying to get into the trunk, well, this little hole just to the right is center line. Underneath, you can pull this out. I actually went directly underneath it. If I did it again, I would move it over probably 1/4 of an inch, I would say at this point, maybe 1/4 of an inch over a 3/8 size hole. And that should give you plenty of access to get a tool up in there and get that thing opened up. Now, stick with me because we're gonna open the trunk and see what's inside. Yep. Oh, please be goodness. Holy shit. What in the actual? That is a lot of Michelob Ultra. And Natty Ice, maybe. I don't know. All right. Well, we're going to do some garbage bag removal.
Give me one.
Slowly, there may be animals in here for all I know. And, yeah, be careful. Oh, there's one part. That's my blower motor cover. That's important. Yep. Ah, battery cover. Spark plug wires. Tools. I hear tools rattling. Quite the treasure trove. That was dinner?
Yeah.
Oh, there's still stuff in there?
No.
Yeah. Oh, there's still sodas in there.
It's not sodas.
Hey, finally get my first Pennsylvania license plate. Yeah, bring all that crap out. We're gonna go through that one.
That's it.
And get all the garbage. Take all these cans out.
I'm gonna leave these in here.
No,
until we
throw them out.
You sure?
Yeah, pull them all out. So, not in the best of condition. However, salvageable for the immediate. Okay. Nice. Excited. Oh, Bosch even. That's impressive. Spare tire holder. I'm excited. All right, folks. Well, that's what we got in the trunk. I don't have my engine cover. I was hoping it was in the trunk, but it isn't there. Or not my engine cover, but my air filter cover. So, all right, we have a lot of work to do on this poor girl. And yeah, first step is going to get towed up to the house, and we're going to put a washing on this sucker. Anyway, trunk is open. That's a win. So this morning, all I'm going to do is pull the spark plugs out. And I already took the wires off. They were just left there since the distributor had been removed prior to me getting here. Oh, that's a bit of a vacuum leak, I would say. So yeah, I'm gonna pull the spark plugs out. Got the wires off already. They kept them in tight little bundles, so this side of wiring's already out. It was actually zip tied just about everywhere. See, tight little package. This, with the coil connected to it, was the left side. Tight little package was for the right side. So whoever did own this car prior to it being left on the street had a mechanic or took care of it pretty well. Not knowing the last time this thing was ran, I'm going to go ahead and put in some ATF in all of the cylinder bores. So at least we'll get some kind of lubrication in there on that first spin of the motor. I'm going to let that sit in for a few days. Where is my flashlight? I just saw it. It's literally right in front of me. So we'll get a little, maybe we're not, because I can't get much of an angle on nearly any of these. That won't fit. I mean, I can see the hole. Okay. Plan B.
Try this again. A little bit of success. I don't know where to put it. That's a great idea. Nope. That's opposite of what I want. Not opposite though. Come on, just work it a little bit, please. Very good. Yes, success. And of course I have no idea. Oh yeah. That's probably way too much. what pistons are up and what pistons are down. So I'm just gonna wing it. Come on. There we go. Again, way too much. Why would you need to put again, this motor is going to come out at some point here in the near future, but this is just to make sure I don't make it worse when I'm trying to rotate this. Because it's easier to rebuild an engine that is running than isn't. Or something like that. See, all of you should be that convenient. Everyone. Yeah, it is. There's a whole lot. I'm just going to let this sit for a couple days, maybe 2. It needed that last push. Just to allow this stuff to get into all the nooks and crannies inside. If I can catch it on film, watching that first crank with the starter is going to blow this stuff and make such a mess. Oh, I can't wait. Now, why couldn't the other side be this simple? Come on, make my life harder than it needed to be. I would say, as my son likes to say, good enough. Now, I don't know what that was. Now, I can get back to doing more cleaning, because right now, I'm afraid to go near the interior of this car, so we're going to do that.
Look at all the junk in that trunk. Anyway, she got it, or we got it up on the lift for the first time. Put some air in the tires. And I gotta tell you, it is in really good condition. This is the worst of it on this side, and that's not rust, that's just flaking paint. So that's easy. There's the bubble I saw earlier when I washed it. Look at the insides. You can see all the overspray from when they painted this thing 20 years ago. Nothing there. All right, battery box has seen better days. But that's an easy fix. Inside, the rockers. Yeah, the drains even had something living in there not too long ago. Nothing, guys, nothing. Look at the floors. And this is the other spot, but the outer skin is peeling on this. Easily salvageable. More signs of stuff living in there. Inside the fender wells. Boy, those Germans, they tell you, they know how to package some stuff. There's the vacuum tank. But I tell you, look at those bushings. Oof. Missing a caliper. I checked the subframe for all the cracking that I guess there's still an active recall for, and not a trace on front and back on either side. Everything looks solid. I can't get a wrench in there, so I'm just gonna end up pulling this motor and we'll test it when we get it out. And when I drop the subframe, I'll put new bushings in there as well. It's just the easiest time to do everything. Boy, look at those things. Destroyed. Something had to have been chewing on those, I think. But, ooh. Oh, hold on. That was kind of neat. Okay. Loose nut lug nuts. I thought that was the wheel bearing there. But all through here, nothing. All the way down. Now on my red car, the fenders were destroyed because the rust had gotten inside the headlight buckets. I can't really see much from down here, but you can see a little bit back behind, and they're solid, nothing. No issues whatsoever on the headlights. I got this little bit here, but that, again, isn't very deep. That's surface, that's just the paint peeling off. So we definitely caught this at a good time. Continue around. AC compressor. There is a sticker up on the top. It says it was converted to 134. That was a long time ago based on the appearance of that compressor. Oh, the belt looks fine. Yeah. More stuff living in the holes. At least the holes are there. Something you're going to like to see here in a second. So the drag link here. I don't remember if it's supposed to have that kink in it, but someone has definitely been working on it. Because this is the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. I'm sure that's fine, actually. I mean, they are vice grips. Heck, there are YouTube channels named after those things. So I'm sure it's doing a stellar job up there holding it in lieu of the nut. Perfect. Starter is there. Doesn't look like it's ever been messed with. It's got an O2 sensor on this one. Transmission isn't leaking, but I think the rear main might be. That's a whole different setup than what's on the other one, the 75. The exhaust still looks solid enough to work. I just put a few donuts on this because my ratchet strap was hanging. So I put 4 total. They were all missing. So I'm sure that probably cracked something up on the manifold, which, you know, I mean, what are they, 20 bucks to get a new set of manifolds? Yeah, right. So heat shield or something is missing here. Like I said the other day, I cannot believe the parking brake actually still works on this thing. I got 3 of the 4 brake calipers, so kind of works, right? They roll, so they're not seized. The boots are destroyed. Ooh, wow, a real sticker's still on that thing. What's that say? Bogue Turbo. B-O-G-E Turbo. Yeah, she's got a little bit of caked on, baked on. That hose, boy, that is a fuzzy hose. That is awesome. Fuel pump, I haven't tested it, done anything with it yet. Accumulator, looks nice. Boy, I tell you, that does a stellar job. I'm sure that's perfect. That's fine. This side too, boots destroyed. I just need him to go round and round for a little while, and we get to those later. But I tell you, the trunk is in perfect condition. Exhaust is right up where it needs to be. Back in its home, somebody ran into this here. That's all bent. I'll fix that. No rust back on this quarter. Nowhere. All the way up and around. How this car is a West Virginia car, I have no idea. So, I think the plan for this one is going to be borrow what I need to from that one, including the wheels. I think I'm going to put those wheels and tires on this one. And we'll hodgepodge this one together. Should be the same fuel injector, so I'll put new fuel injectors in it. and we'll get this thing running before my red one. How about that? Look at that. This one's got a little bit of a chip in it. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And these, they sure look original to me. Boy, that's a shame. But yeah, so far so good. I am thrilled with the way this thing looks. So what I'm trying to do today is put the caliper on the right front wheel, which it didn't have one. So I at least want to get brakes on this thing so I can get it rolling. Caveat to that, of course, is I haven't checked to see if the master cylinder is working. I haven't even looked inside the bowl. So let's do that now and see what we're working with. Yeah, let's go have a look. All right, so I don't know. There's a little bit of surface rust on the booster, but let's see what we got inside. That's like syrup. Well, no, it's just really empty and really black looking back in that corner. Yeah, she's empty, so she's just discolored. I don't know, maybe we'll get lucky and get some juice out of this thing. Well, not juice, but some use, I should say, while I'm here. Yeah, figures. That grommet, she's pretty perished. All right, so, oh my God, .4, are you serious? Huh, okay. I would assume .3. So anyway, let's see if I got some brake fluid and try to get this caliper on. Oh, come on, cobwebs, that didn't take long. Get you an idea of what we're looking at in here. And that's how it was left, just like that. So we'll do a little cleanup here. And it looks like that speed sensor has seen better days. There is nothing left to it. Of course, I'm going to replace this line, but right now, I'm just going to get the brakes working. And we'll get to that later. So here we go. So what I'm going to do here I just filled up the master just to get some fluid moving through the system, and it may take it a few minutes to get down here, but I don't want to take a chance of getting some garbage down in here, which, let's face it, where this thing was sitting, there's a lot of garbage and hay. So if I can get some clean fluid dripping out of here, that would go a long way to getting this righted. Boy, that is the right angle. Like that, I guess. I got my bolts. She should be dripping at some point. I might have to go get my pressure bleeder and just put a little oomph behind it, because if there is some stuff wedged in there, well, I want to get that blown out prior to putting a new caliper on. So let's do that. So there it is. Got it dripping pretty good. A little bit of pressure in the tank, and she came out pretty good. So flush the line. I got this screwed back onto the line. Let's get some of this debris out of here, huh? Get you a backside view. Finally got some of that crud out of there. I'll get the bolt on here, the 2 bolts on the caliper in a second, but look at this, guys. That's another angle of my vice grips holding on the drag length. Isn't that amazing? I mean, I don't know how long that's been like that. And that bar, I don't know if it's supposed to be straight, but it's got a heck of a kink to it. I don't know if you can see the kink in that bar or not. That one right there, it's supposed to be straight, I'm guessing. My other one is on the other car, so it would only make sense, right? Yeah, so we'll get this thing buttoned up, put the wheel on it, and see if we have any brake pressure. So here we go. Where's my light? Right here. So what we're going to do, these are my 2 bolts, eBay specials, but they are off of a 107 front right brake. Not that these bolts matter. So as soon as you clean something and get it looking right, what's the first thing you're going to do? Yep. You're going to drop it into the slimiest concoction that you have going in the garage at the time. Yeah. Well, a little bit of lubrication, I guess, doesn't hurt, right? Sure. Good as new. So, get this up where they go. Maybe. There's 1 and 2, maybe? Ja. 1 und 2. Also, sehr gut. Got worried for a minute, nothing felt like it was going to fit. Now I know I should be using some seal on here, but these are going to come off because these rotors are not staying. They got a heck of a lip going. This is only to get it so I can move this car around the property a little safer than what I can right now. So these are not even getting torqued very well. Just enough to hold her in place like that. Then I am not even worried about, yeah, these are even old pads I had laying around, these old Pagids. Let's see if they even fit, and they do. And last big step, I guess I would say. I'll tap that into place here in a second. But get my pins in. I'll tap those in and we have front brakes locked and loaded. Yes. So my pressure bleeder doesn't work very well because it just blows out the relief valve here on the top and this one here. So I got to go and gravity bleed this, which is going to take a minute. So I'm going to start in the rear and work my way around, and we'll see if this thing drips fast enough before I fall asleep and turn old. Wish me luck. I am not kidding. I pumped it about 6 or 8 times, so the master cylinder is working, and as soon as I cracked this valve, she dripped. Kind of shocked, I ain't gonna lie. Let me see if I can make that happen again. So I gave her 10 pumps, and let's see what she does. Wow. Okay. This may take a while, but it seems to be working. Well, I'm just going to let that drain for a few. Looks like we got a pretty steady drip now. And that should start turning clear before too long. So we'll give that probably 5 or 10 minutes. And I guess we'll just do each wheel the same way. So I don't have very much patience with most things. So I'm gonna go use my vacuum bleeder. I'm not concerned about using it because there's no ABS system on this car. So I think we'll get done 3 days, 4 days sooner if I use my vacuum bleeder. All right, so far I got, I don't know, a fair bit amount. It is pretty nasty stuff that came out so far, I'm not gonna lie. But I thought it plugged up, so I took the pin out, checked the bleeder hole here, put a drill bit down in there, nice and easy. And this is freed up and clean. She's still not dripping here, so we're gonna go put this back together and see if we can get some more going again. I don't know what happened. It shouldn't have given me any problems. So let's see if we can get it flowing again. My suspicion is something may be blocked in here or in these lines that have been stagnant for so many years. Yeah, I had to turn a fan on. It got so stupid hot in here. It's just, we're in the middle of another heat wave, and it's crazy here in Virginia. All right, close, a little suction. I know we got plenty of fluid in the master. Yeah, master cylinder's got plenty of fluid in it. I just pumped the pedal a few times and went right to the floor, so we'll see if we can get some more out now. Yeah, she's flowing again. Had to just been a blockage somewhere in the system. Should be running clean here soon. See what we're looking at. Yeah, she's still scuzzy looking in there. Don't know if you can see in there, but yeah, Same color as the stuff that's in the pan. All right, we keep at it. So far, that's what came out. I think my left rear brake line, possible proportioning valve, is plugged. I've got the right rear to start flowing fluid, but I think I may have a caliper problem on that side because it's not squeezing. But at least I got fluid finally flowing on the right rear. The fronts feel good, go all the way to the floor. The right rear now goes to the floor, but that left rear still won't go to the floor and has no effect on braking action. So anyway, we're gonna keep at it and try to get this stuff a little clearer. And as you see, as I'm looking in here, so I also found this drop link. It is just kind of hanging. The other end is still bolted in its hole back there in the rear. Somewhere down in here. So essentially this whole thing is just flopping around in there. That wasn't connected to anything. So this, I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna say it out loud. This shouldn't be too complicated. I put a little light in here. So right there, that should come apart. I soaked it yesterday, and off the back of the caliper should be really simple. So anyway, we're gonna get that sorted. So it looks like 9/16 is gonna be tight enough. Get this thing. There we go. 9/16 will be tight enough on the bottom. I do have an 11 on the top. Let's see. Oh God, that's such a good feeling. Yes. That makes me so happy. You know, 9 times out of 10, this thing is going to be seized up. Look at that. Oh, I'm telling you, this car was looked after. It's spinning by fingers now. All right, before I completely take that one off, I'm going to break it off on the back of the caliper as well. And we'll try to get this loosened up as well. Oh, God, I love that. All right. Loosening the top. That line is free, as is my little connector. Now this guy is loose as well. Okay. Oh, that is hard to blow through that line, that's for sure. So, this poor thing does seem to be pinched off somewhere. However, this is the one that still kind of worked. Well, everything's fine, just everything is made in China, I'm telling you. And this is supposed to be AC Delco. Yeah, these are AC Delco. And they're exactly like the fronts, just a little bit shorter. DOT Sun Song. I don't know. It's a little frustrating, you got to admit. But regardless, we'll get this thing started. And the top connected, move on to the left rear. And at least see if we can get the brakes working. In the rear. So that one is set. Come on, let go. Get a little of this crud cleaned off up here first. bad boy screws right in beautifully. And then we'll snug this stuff up. What did I say, 9/16? Yep. And 11. Yep. There we go. And then snug down the bottom. It'll only take a second here. All right, so that should take care of that. What I'm curious to do now, let's check this bleed nipple and do some gravity bleeding while I go work on the other side. On this side, I'll spare you the ugly details. It's exactly the same as what I did on that side. Unless things get interesting, in which case I may bring you back over. But like that, I gotta get some of that out of there. Don't think I should have that inside. And it just seems like it should be a little stiffer. Let's see if I can get you a better look at that. At least this one's connected, the drop link on this side. It's not broken off yet. It looked not old, but this just, that's barely any effort. And it just, I don't know. We'll see. So, better angle. Here's that bad boy. And you can see, I think she's worn out. So we're gonna swap that and get back to the brakes here in a minute. So the only thing I need to do now to get the last one off, because I got this one off, it fell apart as well. So in order to get the other one off, well, look, I'll show you where it is. Maybe. So down there, maybe, I don't know. I can't tell if you can see it or not. I can't even get my head in there to see it, honestly. There. So in order to get the other side of that, caliper's got to come off and the rotor's coming off. So that's what we're going to do next to get to the inside. So the impact isn't doing anything on these. Let's see. Don't break, don't break, don't break. Nice. Don't break, don't break, don't break. Yes. All right. That was a lot of noise. Okay, the bolts are out. Hang that up here for a minute. Right here, these should just come out. There's no nut. Unless that broke off. Okay. They feel almost new. Oh, they look pretty bad, but yeah, we'll tap these off. Just as I suspected, some slight persuasion wins. Didn't even use any WD. These look in really nice shape. I'm just gonna lightly scuff these up a little bit. You can see where the pad was sitting for a while. But I think lightly scuff these up and they're going to go back on. As for our fender, can't see it, which means it's behind the brakes. This is getting worse and worse, I promise you. Okay. That was this. It did come out, and wow, even the washer broke on that. It did come out, and you don't have to take the brakes off or the caliper, but it's one of those while you're in there. I wanted to get to it anyway, so I'm just going to clean this hub up a little bit and give it a good once over, and then we'll put it back together, get the new piece installed. So the bottom one, the nut that it comes with, you don't end up using. This guy, because it threads directly into the back of the hub, and it went in far enough to lock in. It feels really good and tight. And that still spins, which is always a bonus. The top, the nut is used on the top. You just have to hold the inside. No surprise there. And run her down to about foot-pounds. I do have air and battery powered, but you know, sometimes there's just something a cable works better for. And just like that, you got a brand new rebuilt entire rear end. I'm kidding. But it looks a hell of a lot better, and it should be protected for a little bit longer. I have a feeling I'm going to end up having to replace both of those calipers. But for now, I think what we're going to do is put these back on. Well, after I put the rotor on, which I'm also going to scuff up and make look better. So I got to tell you, the inside is really in good condition. I thought this would be far more pitted. That'll clean up beautifully. The outside is the worst, and even that'll clean up really nice once we start driving this thing. So I'm gonna go brake clean this thing off and throw it back on. Okay, cleaned out, looks a lot better. This is just a dowel. I thought it was a broken off screw. It's not. That's easy. Okay. Pads look great. They look new when the car is parked anyway. I'm still going to end up having to take these off. I feel it. Damn it, where you are. There you are. So that's a nice one. Oh, I'll show you something. I love my Kia, my EV6. It's right behind the camera. We were holding a dog that escaped the other day from one of our neighbors. So she comes over to pick up her dog. She's very grateful, happy. Got her dog back. Life's perfect. Then, as she's leaving, yeah, car wasn't even moving. My poor thing. Such a shame. So she's done, put back together, torqued down, line is in. I still have to fight with that proportioning valve. So we'll look on the other side, look past the cobwebs. And I think I should just take this one off and go through, make sure that looks okay as well. That way I know at least the rear end is done. Gives my WD in there a little longer to do its work. And this will be a copy and paste. You know, I'm glad I'm doing it because, you know, you never know when the spiders are gonna break free and run out, or stomping on the gas or the brakes and then having this stuff catch fire back here. So we'll get her sorted out and make sure nothing abnormal happens when we don't want it to. Although it would probably make for good YouTube, wouldn't it? So once again, I get completely sidetracked doing things I don't need to do, but this looks way better. A little Craigslist rebuild maybe? No, but seriously, that metal is absolutely solid everywhere. Every bit of it. The brake pads are still new. These should clean up nicely. Inside is 10 times better than what the outside looks like. So I'm gonna go have lunch, come back and tackle that. See if I can get anything done with some fluid moving. So here's the proportioning valve for the rear end. And this thing, you can see through it. So no restrictions in this whatsoever. However, we still don't have any fluid leaking out of the supply line right here. Nothing. So that tells me I got a problem up at my master. So what I'm going to do is get on the brakes, pump it, and see what happens. This was driving me nuts. So I know I got a shiny thing, but this bolt was missing, that bolt, and that one up there. So this whole side of the plastic was just flopping. Unfortunately, I had some extra ones that looked pretty period correct. And this side up there was missing a washer, and it looked like it was starting, it did crack the end, but it'll hold it. She's in. I haven't replaced the fuel filter. I haven't even tested the fuel pump. The accumulator looks like it was kind of replaced not too long ago. So that's, you know, $100 or $200 I shouldn't have to spend. It's nice it's got a hard line going to the fuel pump and the fuel filter. I like that. So we'll get to that, but not today. For today, I got to finish the brakes. So in the midst of getting sidetracked again, which I tend to do, we're going to replace this probably faulty radiator cap. Not that this is remotely ready for anything, but I do have a new motor rad. So we're going to go ahead and put it in and free up some space on my bench. But I have a feeling this is going to come out and it's going to get maybe detoxed a little bit if there's no leaks. So getting back to the brakes, I pushed as much air through the brake line that I could. Air is flowing fine. The splitter valve is working fine. There is just no fluid coming out of my master. So I'm pretty sure my master is bad. So now I'm going to go replace the lines on the front wheels. And there is my new caliper. So all we're really going to do is replace this one hose right now. That connection has been soaking for about a week now. This is about a week later. And then the other end is, well, I already know it's easy because I already put the caliper on. So this should go relatively uneventful. I do, obviously, need a new ABS sensor. So we'll get that sorted out as well. So here we go. Come on. Here we go. Come on, be nice. Let's play nice. play nice yet. That's fine. We don't have to play nice immediately. I just want to play nice a little bit. Come on. I don't know if that broke or what happened. Nope. What's up, child? Well, that didn't go my way. This is just gonna set on fire. Pretty sure, anyway. Let's see. I'm gonna set my car on fire. That little metal gets pretty hot pretty quick, eh? Come on, sugar plum. Come on, just a little. Oh, yes. There it is. Did you catch all that? I know, there's fluid leaking. I got you. It'll cool down. I get it. I was prepared for you. Okay. Close that off for a second here. Yeah. Get the other end loosened up on the bottom. While that takes a minute to cool out. Oh, 17. That might be a 17. I do not remember. Well, that didn't go my way. It's my new caliper, covered in black schmutz. I lost, I don't know, a good half a pint. This hose is the wrong length. Not a happy camper right now. Thank you, Rock Auto. So, we will cease and desist all operations until further notice. You know what? Every time this car pisses me off, I'm gonna hurt it. Every time. You're gonna lose another inch. All right? Every freaking time. So we're gonna start playing that game and see who wins that. Yeah, I'm totally gonna lose this game. So first of all, this is probably 2 weeks later now from when I was doing the brakes the first time when I found found out that the brake lines were the wrong length. I've got that sorted out. Finally, Rock Auto stepped up and sent me some good ones that are the right length. And I'll show you what they are here in a minute. But now I'm getting to the left side. After I did the right side, I don't think the wheel bearings have ever been greased in their history. So we're going to take the left side apart and we're going to grease up that side as well. And at least give myself a little more comfort knowing that at least it'll roll nice. Another nice thing I noticed on this side, I actually looked at one of my other videos, is it's bad angle, but you can see my lower sway bar link. Look at the angle that thing has got onto it. So something happened to that. I have ordered some new ones. We'll see how well it's going to fit. I'm wondering what would cause that. I don't know. We're going to find out once we get that apart, but that'll be in a later video. And of course, this side, so that sensor is been hacked up somewhere along the way. And this one is missing, so that is hacked up. I don't know. Yeah, they've just been beat and destroyed, so I got to get a new everything here, it looks like. I have ordered some more suspension components. I got a new drag link, and I got a new stabilizer coming. I am going to replace the bushings on this subframe as well, like I did on the 450. They look pretty terrible, so we'll do all 4 of those as well. And I'll do my steering coupler, which I'll do that after I get the car running and get this engine sorted out. Then once it's running, I'll pull it and then do everything to the engine bay that I need to. So let's crack on. So that was a bit of a bear. Yeah, the little tab on the bottom of that hole was bent up, and I haven't seen that before, so nothing crazy. However, the bolt that came out, yeah, that one here is the one that was in that lower hole. The other side, both of these, or both of the bolts on the other side were the same length. So I'll check the head to make sure that it's going to work, but it gives me pause because the other car didn't have any of these either. Interesting. So getting back to this, next we're going to make sure that I can crack these loose. Gosh, look at the color and the degradation on that hose. So I'll make sure I can break this loose from the line on both ends. That's my next task. Well, we're gonna give it a little heat on it. I don't like the way it's feeling, so we're gonna make it as easy as possible. Hopefully you can still see that. Don't want to overdo it. Come on, baby. There it goes, nice and easy. Yes. Beautiful. All right, put a little water, a little glass cleaner, cool it down a little bit, pinch the line. I love these little clamps, they work so well. And now the piston's already been pushed out a little bit. Bolts are off, so this should want to come off at this point, but it won't want to. Yeah, she wants to argue and fight, and I need a bigger bar. Obviously, I'm not a believer in hammering things. Rather, pry it and persuade it. But this has been on there Well, I know what I did wrong. Didn't even pay attention to it. The caliper will come off if you take off the right bolt. Look at that. It's like it wants to move now, huh? So I took off the wrong bolt on the back. Explains a lot. So, yeah, it was one of the bolts for the steering knuckle. Boy, they are within an inch of each other when you're working upside down and inside out. We're gonna make those mistakes. It happens. I thought it was funny. That's why I wanted to get in here and look to see what else was done. But look at that. There's my regular bolt. Caliper wants to come off. Almost like predicted. And now, of course, I'm not ready for it. We're just going to unscrew the caliper from the cable. It seems to be the easiest and least messy way of doing this. So, takes it a minute, but easy to do and not as messy as taking the brake line off at the top. Just a little awkward. Ta-da, caliper off. Now I get a good chance to clean that caliper off as well. No leaks. I can put this bolt back in and clean up. Boy, I tell you. It's not even a millimeter difference on the back side of this dust shield to the rotor, and it looks like it's supposed to be that way. That is some seriously good engineering back in the 70s. Now you got a better view than I do, but yeah, before I go too far, we're just going to screw this right back in where it came out of. That's about right. And we'll bend her back over. There we go. Ta-da. We'll get more of this crud out of this lower control arm. There's still mouse poop and everything else in here. It's kind of entertaining, honestly. All right, now we're gonna get taking the rotor off before I even do. I forgot what I even came in here to do. But we'll get this off and repack the bearings. So the dust cap pops off really easy. A little screwdriver, a little tapping. We'll clean this up a little, get a look at the pinch. Oh, wow. Well, never mind. Thought I felt something, but nope, she's good. get an idea of where it sits, right at the edge where it starts to bevel is where the pinch nut is sitting. And of course it's an Allen. We'll clean up everything on the inside of this. Suck out all this old 50-year-old grease. I'll set that here for now. Comes the outer cover over the bearing. And then the bearing itself. Still got some grease in here, but that stuff has seen better days. Inside, it's all blackened out. You know, she's had some heat in there. So we'll get a feel, see how the rotor feels. And we'll get her back in. This is why I like getting behind everything. Look at all that stuff. This is just kindling. This stuff would heat up and catch fire if it gets too bad. Really easy. So I'm gonna get in here, clean all this cobwebs and debris out, as well as going into all of the veins here and blowing them out, poking those out. The last one had some mud daubers that were in there. Now I know I'm gonna replace these eventually because they do have a lip on them. This will clean up pretty well, as long as they're not warped. But yeah, they've got a nice little lip on it. I haven't checked thickness yet, but we're gonna go and take good care of this one and get her back on the car so I can move on to plan B, C, D, and E in the resurrection of this car. Okay, so all the old grease is out from the middle. I'm gonna clean up these a little bit. Some of that original is still in there. It's disgusting and cracky, and outside of the bearing, on the inside bearing, it's all blackened out, so it's definitely time to refresh all of this. Do you ever buy the wrong gloves and spend 10 minutes trying to get your fingers to get back into the holes because your fingers just won't dry off from the prior set of gloves? Yeah, well, I'm living there. Look at this. But I'm gonna refuse to waste a nice pair of my Venom gloves when I got these sitting right there to use to get nice and greasy. Yeah, I think most of the people watching these kind of videos know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, maybe it'll just work itself in, right? So all I'm gonna do now is load up my hand and pack the bearing with some good quality grease. There we go. Now most of that will go everywhere that I don't want it to be. However, once it starts pushing up through the edges, it'll push the old grease out. The trick is to not, see, look at that. Pushes it right out. The trick is to not mix the old grease with the new grease. Easier said than done, I assure you. Sounds like we have a Chinook flying over. You can see it's starting to blend. So we'll keep cleaning and moving and rotating a little bit until all of it gets pushed up. Or you can just have a bearing packer and be done with it really quick. But hey, what fun is a bearing packer? Right? Look at all that. It's so satisfying to actually watch it come through. Getting close right there. Look at all that. Ugh. Out with the old, in with the fresh. I would stop filming right now, but I'm not touching the camera. So maybe this will get edited out. Maybe not, because it is really satisfying. So now the fun stuff. Packing a bearing that I don't feel like taking out of the rotor. I don't have a new seal. So we're gonna roll with the old seal. However, I am gonna put a bunch of grease inside here. It's the nice high temp stuff. So the bearing is on the bottom side. I'm gonna load up the middle, flip it upside down, and do my darndest to pack it from the inside out. It's a bit of a trick, I ain't gonna lie. Frustrating, mostly. But definitely doable. That's a start. So for me, the trick is to just use one, if you got fat fingers like me, finger at a time, and just draw it up into the bearing. And you can see it starting to push through, but I can't really show it on camera. Go around this thing enough. You go through it with a rag and you can pull up all that black. I'll show you here in a second. So, now you go on top of the bearing. And you just kind of work it around. You can see all that stuff come out. Yes, yes. Or as they say in Australia, ye. Yes. I don't know. I love the Australian accent. It's really cool, isn't it? I think so. Easier to do an Australian accent than a British accent. No, I'm not going to try. If you got a little tool, you can get it in there and peel all that stuff out as well. Be very careful not to rip that seal. if you're patient, you can make it happen. I won't bore you with any more of that. So the reassembly, clean all this off, make it look all pretty again, if you want to. Wiped off the nub. We're gonna put the rotor straight on and be very careful with that inner wheel seal. Nice and easy. Light movement until you know it's in. Then, without delaying too long, you want to get the outer race on so you're not stressing that bushing or that wheel seal on the inside. There she goes. And we'll put our race on. Come on, baby, work with me. I'm trying to help you. Help me help you. Right? That's what we're trying to go for. Is it backwards? Well, that was easy. Apparently it was. So you don't want to have much play, but you can't go very tight with this either. Get it in. Make sure she's not wiggling. Without slicing your finger, because that shield down here is sharp. I think that's about right there. That feels good. She's got a nice roll. Then snug up that Allen nut or Allen bolt. Sorry for the lack of lighting. I do need 3 hands. All right, and again, it's right at the lip, right where the camber starts. So it's pretty close to where it was before. And I'm not over tightening, just cinching this down. That feels good right there. Obviously, do your due diligence and use the correct torque. This is just for general information and confidence building. So voila. So the next thing is to pull this line, put the new line on and the brake on. And yeah, let's do it. All right, both bolts torqued down. Last thing I have to do here is get new pad wear sensors and the connector, because obviously it's been cut. So we'll get that sorted out next, but we'll just give this a quick spray down, and bearings and brake lines have been replaced all the way around. So instead of spending 30 or 40 bucks on a new brake sensor or wear pad sensor, I'm just going to go fix this one because the length was perfectly fine. I tested continuity, no issues there, so I'll be able to slip this back up through the grommet because I took the connector apart pretty easily. Really simple job. So there's 40 bucks I won't have to spend. So I got the Ribestus for the fronts originally. That part number no bueno. Don't use it, it's too short, like 4 inches too short. So I used the DFC brake hoses. That, and they seem to be good quality. And they're the right length, most importantly, so they actually fit. So, yeah, know the difference between the two. Well, as far as the brakes go, I think that's going to be it for right now. I think my problem is going to be the master cylinder. So I'm going to get a master cylinder. I don't know when, at some point here soon. I think I'm going to move on. The front brakes are working fine. The rears, they just don't do anything right now. The calipers are fine. I'm getting fluid. I'll deal with it, but that'll be a case for a later day. Right now, I think I'm going to move on. Not right now, but in my next video, I'll be getting back to working on the engine and trying to see what else is wrong with this car before we run out of money to get this thing rolling. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Derek. This is 4 in Tune. See you in the next one.